देखिए, वाइल्ड लाइफ को प्रिजर्व करना हमारी एनवायरनमेंट के बैलेंस के लिए बहुत जरूरी है, लेकिन उससे भी ज्यादा जरूरी है हम ह्यूमंस के लिए बाकी लिविंग स्पीशीज के साथ कोएग्जिस्ट करने की प्रेसिंग नीड को समझना। और Amazon प्राइम वीडियो की आने वाली क्राइम सीरीज जो है, मिनी सीरीज जो है पोचर, आई थिंक इसका एक आई ओपनर है जितना अभी तक हमने ट्रेलर और टीजर को देख के समझा है। और इसके बारे में और ज्यादा बात करने के लिए आज हमारे साथ पंजाब केसरी नवोदय टाइम्स में है द अवार्ड विनिंग क्रिएटर एंड डायरेक्टर of this series, Richi Mehta, an amazing set of actors, Dibendu and Roshan. ढेर सारी बातें इनसे होंगी, but सबसे पहले a warm welcome to all three of you on our platform.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And as an audience first, let me thank you, Richi, for making a series. You know, कई बार ऐसा होता है, you see entertainment for the purpose of feeling happy and releasing your stress, and then there is entertainment for the purpose of, oh, this is a story that should have been told. So thank you for that.
Are.
So Poacher, what's it about? Obviously teaser देख के काफी कुछ समझ गए हैं, but tell us a little more about it.
Oh, it's very straightforward plot about officers from the Kerala Forest Department and NGO workers from the Wildlife Trust of India and Good Samaritans and police officers who come together to basically solve the biggest ivory poaching case in Indian history and the biggest wildlife mafia case in Indian history. So they basically come together to try and avert species extinction in India.
So how did this idea happen? मतलब इतना कुछ है बताने के लिए, इतनी सारी stories हैं. How did this particular one come to you?
This one came to me because I was doing a documentary in 2015 called India in a Day, which was a crowdsourced documentary. People were sending me footage from all over the country, from their lives, on one day. And that shoot day was October 10th, 2015. And one of the pieces of footage I received was of an ivory raid in Delhi on that day. And I watched the footage and I was so shocked by these officials going into a flat in Delhi and finding all this ivory that I called the NGO that submitted. I said, what is this? And they said, this was the biggest ivory bust in Indian history. It was the end of a 1-year investigation. And it was on your shoot day for your documentary. And we thought we'd share the footage. And I said, I cannot use this. I need to give you context. And I cannot do that in the documentary. Give me a few years. I will come back, research the case, and do a project on it because it's so fascinating. I did not know wildlife crime was an issue. I did not know there was wildlife crime fighters. I did not know there was a whole world of wildlife mafia. I just was fascinated by it. And then as I researched more a few years later, I realized this is the story of human beings basically trying to protect ecosystems for everybody. They're trying to save the world and they will do anything for it.
Right. And Dibindu and Roshan, आप इस प्रोजेक्ट का हिस्सा कैसे बने? Dibindu, how did it happen to you?
जी, ऑफ कोर्स ये पहला कॉल तो आया था मुझे कास्टिंग डायरेक्टर की तरफ से, मुकेश चावला की तरफ से, संजय का। फिर मैंने इस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए ऑडिशन दिया और ऑलरेडी रिची के साथ मेरा काम करना था, मुझे काम करना था क्योंकि हम लोग एक प्रोजेक्ट में काम कर रहे थे, लेकिन उसके बाद वो फिर आगे यूटिलाइज नहीं हुआ। फिर एक्चुअली मुझे बहुत ही जबरदस्त काम करना था रिची से, कि मतलब जोर से काम करना था। तो फिर उसके बाद मैंने ऑडिशन दिया। ऑफ कोर्स ऑडिशन देने के बाद देन आई वाज सिलेक्टेड एंड फिर रिची के साथ बात हुई, फिर कहानी के बारे में पता चला और वाइल्ड लाइफ क्राइम फाइटर्स के बारे में पता चला, रियल लाइफ इंसिडेंट। क्योंकि देखिए इतनी जानकारी तो आपको खुद एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग आप थोड़ा सा नॉलेज तो रखते हैं चीजों के बारे में, सोशल अवेयरनेस तो है, लेकिन इतनी ज्यादा डिटेल में पता नहीं होता है कि एक आइवरी रेड है, उस रेड के बाद ये सारी स्टोरी को कंसीव किया गया। उसके बाद रिची का जो रिसर्च है, रिसर्च इतने सालों का रिसर्च है, रिसर्च के बाद इतनी सारी चीजें जो खुल के आई है सामने, वो एक एज एन एक्टर भी एक आई ओपनर होता है आपके लिए। यू नो इट्स लाइक ओ वाओ, मतलब मैं इसका पार्ट बनने वाला हूँ। सो मतलब वो एक्चुअली वो गूज़बम्स लेने वाली बात हो जाती है, बिकॉज एज एन एक्टर आप लाइफ में बहुत सारे काम करते हैं, बहुत सारी चीजों में उलझे रहते हैं, लेकिन कुछ पर्टिनेंट, कुछ मीनिंगफुल वर्क जब आपका होता है तो फिर आप ऑटोमेटिकली उसमें थ्रिल्ड रहते हैं ना फिर। सो दैट्स हाउ फिर देन स्लोली द होल क्रू, रोशन, निमिषा, Richi, Johan and the whole fantastic crew and Kerala, it's all overwhelming experience.
करेक्ट बट रोशन जैसे दिव्येंदु ने कहा कि एज एन एक्टर कई चीजें कई प्रोजेक्ट्स आपके लिए भी एक आई ओपनर होती हैं एंड आई एम श्योर यू अग्री और रेजोनेट दिस वेरी फैक्ट बट मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूंगी कि जब आप इस रोल के लिए सिलेक्ट हुए इस कैरेक्टर के लिए सिलेक्ट हुए और आपने एक डिटेल में फिर स्क्रिप्ट को पढ़ा रिसर्च जो इसके पीछे हुई वो जाना सो एक्टर असाइड एज एन इंडिविजुअल ये कितना शॉकिंग रहा आपके लिए क्योंकि आई एम श्योर उसमें बहुत सारे फैक्ट्स एंड फिगर्स होंगे टू फाइंड आउट
Yeah,
अबाउट
yeah, yeah, definitely. Facts and figures तो काफी shocking थे. I didn't know in detail about the poaching industry per se. I didn't know about this particular case and the amount of detail that we've covered it in the series. Richie's obviously spent a lot of time researching, but he's also found sources who have many of them have ended up being characters in the show now. He's found these inside sources who had information to give him which wasn't out there actually. Even if you start like looking for it right now, if you decide to do an online research, a lot of this information isn't out there, and a lot of it is very shocking. And when you draw a graph and see where it could all end up or what is the worst case scenario of this, then it is actually terrifying. But I guess like I don't know. When you approach it as an actor, it's also important to detach yourself from that a little bit so that you can just play the character and do what's essential for the story to be effective, and not be too emotionally moved by it. So that balance of being attached yet detached was, I think, very essential to find in this project, because the reasons why Richie is doing this, the reason why all of us have come on board is all very clear in our head. But us being shocked by it is not the requirement when we head out to shoot it.
Correct.
When we head out to shoot it, the requirement is that we bring whatever's on the page out on screen in the most effective way possible. And then what the series has to do, if we've done our job well, hopefully it will do when people watch it.
Right. But Richie, as Roshan has said, that, their role as an actor comes when whatever is written in the script, whatever facts are mentioned in the script, they can, put it across with a lot of conviction for us as audience to then obviously resonate the feeling with which you guys have made it. So I want to ask you, 2015 is first jab aapko wo picture mili thi, and now you've, made this series. So I'm sure a lot of research must have gone through behind it. So share a little about that research and the challenges.
Sure. I mean, the research was basically, it was a pleasure, actually. It wasn't a challenge to research. It's my favorite part of the process. So I'm just meeting these amazing people and getting to know them. A lot of it is, for example, I started doing, while I was doing Delhi Crime, I stayed in touch with the Wildlife Trust of India, who submitted the footage, just so I had that connection when I was finished the project. And, at one point I edited some footage for them just to help them. They had so many archive footage while I was doing Delhi Crime. And then and then I did a workshop for them in Jim Corbett National Park, just to help forest watchers document the environments they're protecting with their phones. I did a couple of things like that for them on a volunteer basis. And then after this, they said, it's time for you to meet the wildlife crime fighters. And I said, my God, I'm so excited. What a great job title. So I earned that, I think. And then they introduced me to the character that Roshan ends up playing. And he was my entry point. And it was very exciting to see the world through his eyes. The work that he does, why he does it. It just became a whole new viewpoint on planet Earth for me. And a very exciting way of living life. Because he would go on undercover operations. I mean, he was clandestine. He was doing all kinds of crazy law enforcement stuff. And then he would mention somebody's name. And I'd say, who's that? And he'd say, I connect you, you go find them. And somewhere in the country, I'd have to go take a train somewhere and find that person, wherever they were. And that kept happening for a couple of years. It was very exciting. And I'm not obliged to do anything. I'm just learning and taking notes. And I don't say I'm doing anything. I say, this is my intention. I'd like to do something, but if it doesn't happen, it's okay too. So that part is the part where there's no pressure. It's really a pleasure. And then during pandemic, when the pandemic began, I spent a year and a half gathering everything and writing it into a script. And then I could see this is going to be something special.
Right. And since your characters, the Bindu and Roshan, are based on people who have been there, who have been a part of this whole project that we are talking about today, and we'll get to see in the mini series. रोशन, आपसे पहले पूछूंगी, क्या अप्रोच रही आपकी उस कैरेक्टर को प्ले करने की?
I think, firstly, this was the first time I was offered, a character based on a person who was actually out there, continuing to do the good work. So that was very exciting. Process के हिसाब से, now Richie's script is very detailed. जो भी एक actor को चाहिए character play करने के लिए, वो already है script में. So you can also proceed just with that. I was just tempted क्योंकि अब ये आदमी है इधर, there is a way to contact him. I can get in touch with him through Richie, so I asked for it and I made that happen. And he's also, I think, he's basically a very very interesting guy. तो हमारा जो पहला initial conversation हुआ, जो मैंने सोचा कि चलो एक हाय हेलो बोलता हूँ, फिर उनसे पूछता हूँ कभी मिल पाऊंगा कि नहीं, वही कॉन्वर्सेशन 40 मिनट तक चला, पहला फोन कॉल. So there was that initial connect that happened. We both enjoyed talking to each other. He was also very excited that something was being made on the story, and his interactions with Richie had been going on for all those years. I was very excited with like every new thing that this man was dropping, every new thing that I heard from him. It felt like what an exciting guy. And also, he's very different from me. He's lived a very different life. He is currently still living a very different life. He's talking of things that I haven't seen or experienced. So in that sense, I think getting to know him or getting to find out the reasons for why he does the things that he does, in सब में से क्या satisfaction मिलता है इनको, मतलब it's not like these guys are rewarded really for the work that they do. Especially this particular case that we're covering in Poacher right now, in that he isn't even officially part of the team technically. तो ये आदमी क्यों कर रहा है, किस चीज के लिए कर रहा है, इसको कहाँ से खुशी मिलती है, all of that was very interesting to find out. So it was more that was finding out the interior rather than superficially figuring out how to look like the character or walk like the character.
Right. करेक्ट. एंड दिव्येंदु, इट्स वेरी ट्रू कि बहुत बार जब एक्टर्स से बात करते हैं जो किसी फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर को प्ले करते हैं, तो बहुत सारे एक्टर्स ऐसे कहते हैं कि हम दिमाग में उसकी एक बैक स्टोरी बना लेते हैं, तो फिर उसके जो रीजंस होते हैं वो क्यों कर रहा है वो जस्टिफाई करना आसान हो जाता है और उसको हम एफर्टलेसली प्ले कर पाते हैं. यहाँ पर आप जो कैरेक्टर प्ले कर रहे हैं इज ऑल्सो बेस्ड ऑन पीपल हु हैव बीन दीज फाइटर्स अगेंस्ट दीज पोचर्स. आपकी अप्रोच कैसी है?
देखिए, दरअसल मेरा अप्रोच हमेशा हर एक सीरीज के लिए स्क्रिप्ट ही होता है, स्क्रिप्ट उसकी एंड द डायरेक्टर. तो मैं चाहे वो कितने भी रियल लाइफ कैरेक्टर हो, किसमें हो, कहाँ हो, लेकिन वो जब वो जो कैरेक्टर वो लिखा गया है, जो कैरेक्टर डायरेक्टर चाहता है कि ये कैरेक्टर करो आप, तो उस कैरेक्टर के साथ जस्टिफाई करना बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है, उस कैरेक्टर के साथ रहना बहुत जरूरी होता है. तो ऑल्दो इट्स अ रियल लाइफ कैरेक्टर बेस्ड ऑन रियल लाइफ कैरेक्टर, तो कैरेक्टर एक एक्स इंटेलिजेंस है जो अभी केरला फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट में फील्ड डायरेक्टर है. लेकिन वही जो रोशन बोल रहा था कि ये इतना अनग्लोरिफाइड वर्क है, मतलब ये खुद ब खुद इन्होंने चुना हुआ है जिंदगी, ये खुद ब खुद ये लोग ये काम करते हैं. तो फिर आपको सबसे पहली बात तो ये एज एन एक्टर, जब मैं मैजिक इफ का यूज करता हूँ, या फिर अगर मैं वो आदमी होता तो क्या करता, सो देन वहां से फिर मैं रिलेट करना चीजों को शुरू करता हूँ. तो इसीलिए I was supposed to meet that real person, but I didn't meet him. अगर मिलता तो कुछ फायदा होता, नहीं मिला तभी भी कुछ फायदा है. बिकॉज क्या है कि मुझे उस कैरेक्टर का बेसिकली सोल ही पकड़ना है, उसका क्राइसिस पकड़ना है, उसके कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स पकड़ना है लाइफ के, और वो ऐसा करता क्यों है, उसके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को पकड़ने होते हैं, उसके सुपर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को पकड़ने होते हैं. तो मैं कंप्लीटली, और ये सारी चीजें जो है, ये जवाब जो है, ये सब कुछ स्क्रिप्ट में है. जैसे रोशन ने आपको बोला, इट्स अ वेल रिसर्च एंड वेल रिटन स्क्रिप्ट, एंड और सारी चीजें जो आपका वन पॉइंट ऑफ कॉन्टेक्ट है रिची. सो रिची, अगर कोई भी आपके दिमाग में कोई सवाल आ रहा है तो मैं बार बार जाके रिची को पूछ सकता हूँ और मेरे को एक सिंपल जवाब मिलता है, सो दैट आई एम ऑलवेज ऑन दैट सेम पेज. तो इसी तरीके से मैं उस चीज को बिल्डअप करने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि मुझे बाकी और चीजों के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता है, मुझे सिर्फ इस किरदार के साथ, इस किरदार का खून पसीना देखना है मुझे. दैट इज माई जॉब. सो इसी तरीके से मैं इस चीज को डेवलप करता हूँ.
Richie, your actors seem to be, total in awe of the hard work that you've put behind your script. मतलब it's like a Bible and gospel की बस वो देख लिया और किरदार समझ ली, उसकी depth समझ ली. I want to know the overwhelming response that you got in 2023 Sundance Film Festival. If I talk about the OTT audience, so what kind of response are you expecting from the OTT audience now? Because it's on Amazon, so obviously it's a wider reach.
Honestly, I don't have expectations. I don't think that way. I never attach myself to results on anything. I just do the best I can, and if I haven't done the best I can, then I cannot live with it, and I cannot sleep at night. But if I can sleep at night, then my conscience has told me, "Chalo, bahut kar liya yaar, bas karo." And if I know that the collaborators have done the best they can under that guidance, if I feel they can do more, I'll walk them through that process. But that's not the case. I generally choose to work with people who I know are going to do as much as they can. Because Roshan, Divyendu, Nimisha was not here. Some incredible actress. I mean, they could not do any more. But everyone, the editors, the composer, all my collaborators, production people, cinematographer, they push themselves. I don't ask them to push themselves. They're doing it for themselves. And so if I have seen that, it inspires me to go forward further. And when I've hit my limit, then uske baad matlab ab dekhte hain. We've done all we can. I don't think if there's a version of this script that's out there that could have been done with more love and more effort, I don't think it exists, to be honest.
Right. And I think anything that you make with a lot of heart, it actually touches the heart of the said audience. So that's what we are hoping for this series as well. But on that note, Dibyendu and Roshan, जब आप और projects करते हैं, आपकी acting की जो shoot की जो locations होती हैं, तो कई बार वो set हो जाता है, कई बार वो chroma हो जाता है, real location में बहुत कम होता है. यहाँ आपने actual forest में shoot किया, तो कुछ तो ऐसे experiences होंगे जो आप मतलब हम ऑब्वियसली सीरीज में नहीं देख पाएंगे, लेकिन आप शेयर अगर करना चाहें क्योंकि फॉरेस्ट में शूट किया है. रोशन.
नहीं मतलब experiences बहुत है, बहुत मजा तो आया, but it's like I guess the whole point is वो वहाँ पे जाके मजे करने की जगह है नहीं forest. So the first thing that was drilled into all of us before we even got there. In fact, we had a Zoom call like this before shoot began, where we were briefed about how to behave in the forest when we go into shoot, and what to do in case you have an encounter with a wild animal, what to do if you spot a snake. So that was how this started. We hadn't even reached the location right now. So we went in keeping all of that in mind, very aware of the responsibility that we had, and very, very aware of the fact that this is a huge gift to us, this opportunity that we get to go actually shoot the series, the story in the exact same forest where some of these events happened, and to be able to access parts of the forest which are otherwise inaccessible to the general public, to be doing work like this there, where being in that setting actually adds to what you're doing. It's makes it a very, very memorable. I've not had another shooting experience like Poacher, and I would not, having said that, I would not wish for another project to be shot inside the forest unless it is a set or a team like Poacher, where I know that we went in and we came out without leaving a footprint behind, which is a phrase that Richie uses. But yeah, that sort of wraps it up very well.
Wow. दिवेंदु, आप कुछ ऐड करना चाहेंगे?
जी, मतलब मैं वही कह रहा था कि एक्चुअली ये ज्यादातर रोशन और निमिषा ये इसके बारे में ज्यादा बता पाएंगे, बिकॉज उन्होंने एक्चुअली ज्यादातर रियल फॉरेस्ट में शूट किया. मेरा रियल फॉरेस्ट में शूट करना काफी कम हुआ था, लेकिन एक दो बारी जो किए थे तो उसमें भी एक बहुत रिची की तरफ से एक बहुत ही क्लियर कट, प्रोडक्शन की तरफ से बहुत क्लियर कट इंस्ट्रक्शन था कि हम लोग शूटिंग में भी जाते थे, इतना मिनिमम क्रू लेके जाते थे, हम पूरा लॉट लेके नहीं जाते थे, बिकॉज इट इज अ टेरिटरी व्हिच नीड्स टू बी लाइक, उसकी जो सैंक्टिटी है उसको बरकरार रखना ही है. मतलब that is predominantly our job also, because we cannot be thankless also towards the nature, because we are so that was there. So एक दो दिन भी मैंने शूटिंग जो किया था. And see, the thing is that the real forest is so overwhelming. It's a lot of sounds. It's like it is a whole together a beautiful world, but at the same time, we have to remember that we're not shooting any music video or ad over there. We are shooting a proper thematic series on that.
Right. And I think जितना ट्रेलर में हमें दिखा है, it has been very intriguing, and as I said in the opening also कि ये एक eye opener होगा for us as audience as well. So we are really hoping कि जिस intention से ये बनी है और जिस intention से as actors आप इसका हिस्सा बने हैं, वो intention audience तक जरूर पहुंचे. So on that note, I wish the three of you all the luck for this series and anything that you do in future. And thank you so much for your time for this interview.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.